because people are humiliated by it and are embarrassed about it, and sometimes rejected by family members because of it. So we have to keep working on with other programs to prevent that from occurring. And so getting cooperation and getting the sort of evidence that you need to prove these crimes is a big challenge. But this is what you have to deal with. As I say, the ICC, as significant as historic as it is to have this kind of permanent international court, is still going to be relatively limited to the number of cases it can do. And so it's got to be helped to deal with justice at the grassroots level, if we're really going to have what I was talking about in the conclusion of my speech, what I think will be humankind, which is a system at the national and international level that could truly deter these horrendous crimes. And what we sadly see now is in various places these crimes are ongoing. You know, we've got what's happened in the Democratic Republic of Congo and Uganda. There's sadly what happened in Kenya in early 2008, where men, women, and children were targeted, on an ethnic basis over an election issue, because the election had been, to a large extent, fought out on an ethnic fault line. We're watching closely the situation in Côte d'Ivoire. We saw what happened in Guinea. We're in so many places. It's, as I've said, more dangerous to be a civilian woman or child than it is to be a soldier.
Yeah.
Even as we're responding to these cases with justice, we still have people who think they can get away with it, and we need to turn the corner on that and to create the political perception, like we have in a well-developed domestic system, that there's a good chance you're going to get caught. And when you have that, you don't stop all crime, but you cut it down pretty dramatically.
That's right. That's right. So, with this interaction between international or bilateral aid programs and the court, you have the aid program providing a kind of multiplier effect for what the court can teach and what the court can show.
Right. Yeah, and keep in mind, this is a challenge, and they'll be talking about it here on the International Center of Transitional Justice has been involved with the Assembly and coming up with some approaches, because the people in development agencies are they're not into the same world. The people come here generally from positions in foreign ministries and state departments like myself and Harold Coe and others, and not as a general rule from, even when our foreign ministries also have agencies for international development within them, they're two different cultures in a way, and they have their own way of programming and developing things. And so in each of our countries, we want to bring those folks in, and then together we want to work to really do something.
So you've got a challenge of some internal bridging as well.
No, indeed, and it's not just us. I mean, it's almost everybody. It's a different mindset. Not that, I mean, they're doing very valuable things, but in terms of and sometimes there's almost a cultural, this is courts and crime and things like that. It's a different kind of thing. Development and assistance, etc. People have a different attitude about it. So, and particularly the international kinds of cases, and there are exceptions. I mean, I want to state that. I mean, we were actively involved in with our Office of Transitional Initiatives, with helping Uganda with the development of their high court, which is dealing with Kony-related cases, the cases related to Joseph Kony, the leader of the Lord's Resistance Army. He and his lieutenants indicted by the ICC now more than 4 years ago, still on the loose, where efforts are being made to arrest them. Those efforts by the Ugandan forces, with the U.S. support and with the support of the neighboring countries, have successfully arrested some of the lieutenants, and one of the key lieutenants is soon to go on trial in Uganda. So the first case for the Lord's Resistance Army won't be in the ICC.
It'll be in Kinshasa,
in Kampala.
In Kampala, yeah.
And so, but we've helped on that one, and obviously these cases in the former Yugoslavia and Rwanda, etc. We've been involved in that. But but it's not been a major focus of development, and we're hoping to really motivate that. But the Assembly of States Parties, which includes both parties and non-parties, I think can help, through that effort, help coordinate that effort between the donors and the countries of concern to develop approaches to really strengthen justice on the ground.
Well, speaking of the Assembly of State Parties, the meetings of the Assembly of State Parties is where the United States, thanks to your leadership and Harold Koh, have resumed their place in this very important part of the international campaign for transitional and international justice. I know you've said that you've been very pleased by the warmth of the reception that you've had by other countries in these meetings. And I think that we saw again today that you had a strong, very positive reaction to your presence and your speaking. As you know, we have a large civil society presence at these meetings.
Yes.
The International NGO Coalition, the International Criminal Court, of which my domestic coalition is a national network. And this is the time when I get asked questions by people from overseas about what the U.S. is doing, why it's doing it, and so forth. One of the questions I get is people say, well, we noticed at the very beginning that the Obama administration had it in mind to have a formal policy on the ICC. And now we hear that that isn't going to happen, and why is that?
Well, I mean, I don't, clearly we got involved in reviewing our approach to the ICC, and that resulted in us taking up the position to which we were entitled as observers.
Yes.
Participating at the ASP. This was sort of a third, it was 2 sessions of the 8th ASP, one in The Hague.